The RBA's soaring inflation warning. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee because I want to talk about this article in which the RBA is warning about soaring profits and, well, soaring inflation. If we jump over to this other screen, we can see here inflation is sitting at 6.1%. Now, if you believe that or not, that doesn't really matter. This is what they say it is, and this is what's going to influence government policy and decisions. I'm certain a lot of us are experiencing much higher than 6.1%, depending on what you spend most of your money on, everyone. Now, Philip Lowe, our Reserve Bank governor, where is he presenting right now? He's at the House of Representatives Standing Committee on Economics, and they're reviewing the Reserve Bank annual report from 2021. Now, we'll go through that. I'll organize a live stream. We'll watch probably the whole thing, maybe in two parts, and I'm thinking maybe tomorrow night, Saturday night, book it in for a fun time to watch some economic discussion. But there are certain things in the media now are appearing from stuff he's mentioned. So let's have a look at this one. RBA boss sounds the warning on profit margins. Businesses should not contribute to soaring inflation by taking home oversized profits, the head of the Reserve Bank warns. Now, aren't we in a free market, or we pretend we are? We're not really. We've got a central bank, everyone. You can't get more controlled than that, really. Well, you can, but that's the early stages of significant control of the market. So should the Reserve Bank governor be making statements like that? I mean, if one business is foolish enough to try and get as many huge mega profits as another one, that's just going to mean there'll be an opportunity for someone to come in to do it cheaper. That's what you want. But the problem is, it's difficult when you add regulation, red tape, bullshit, and disincentivize people from actually getting into business. That's kind of why the big businesses love their crony capitalism, where they can, for the greater good, put more regulations and limitations and difficulties and keep all the dumb plebeians just buying houses, not worrying about anything else. I think there's some people out there would love us if we all worked for just, Walmart or Woolworths. Everyone, just bought everything there and just bought houses. That's the Australian dream. Working at Woolies and buying 50 houses. Doesn't need to make sense, guys. So while the while RBA Governor Philip Lowe stopped short of accusing businesses of gouging under the cover of inflation, he told a parliamentary committee elevated profit margins could become a major contributor to inflation. Dr. Lowe said there were three broad drivers of inflation: higher input prices, yeah, we're seeing that. Shipping costs are going up, material costs are going up, supply of goods are going down. There's not really much they can do about that. Higher wages, yes, we're seeing that. There's a shortage of workers. There is, disincentives to work. And you've got the unions and other organizations pushing up wages. And higher profit margins. Yeah, I guess. But I don't imagine it'd be the one that'd be having as much impact. You'd have to be a business that could be a price setter. And you'd have Coles and Woolies, they tend to act like they're price setters with a lot of their suppliers. You've got some of the big brands like Amazon and their price setting with regards to what people pay them to use their service. There's not really many other options unless you do it on your own. Microsoft, Apple, they're all price setters. They're good moats, actually. They're businesses you want to invest in, I'd look at. Today's inflation is largely from higher input costs, he told a House of Representative Economics Committee on Friday. Okay, so if this is true, then why are they increasing interest rates? I guess, do they want to protect the dollar to try and offset the imported input costs? Because there's no way our interest rates are going to have any impact on the cost of sending a shipping container from China to Australia. There's some pickup in wages, but that's not driving inflation. And I think in some industries there's been an increase in margins. Well, you've got to. There'll be businesses that have to increase their margins just to deal with the increasing costs. If the input costs go up, you have to increase your overall business costs, or it could be they're increasing the margins now in anticipation of inflation going up. And that's where you get into this nasty trap where it's a lot of economics is psychology. That's what most of it is, to be honest. It's one of the soft sciences. It's not like the hard sciences. It's not like chemistry or physics. Dr. Lowe said it was not surprising firms were keeping prices high in current conditions. Many firms say to me they want more workers. They don't want more customers at the moment. And when that's your mindset, you've got to push up your margins. It would be kind of strange if you didn't. I was talking to my steel fabricator. He's having to turn down work because he's got too much on and he can't get enough people to do it all. Or it gets to a point where you take so much on, you can't keep up with it. However, he said that process shouldn't go too far. I don't think it has at the moment, but it's just kind of sounding a warning. Dr. Lowe said wages would have to remain subdued to avoid a wage price cycle in which high inflation leads to higher wages that subsequently drives higher inflation. Yeah, it's funny. Why are we getting calls to push wages higher? This type of cycle would lead to higher interest rates, a weaker economy and higher unemployment. Businesses do have a role in avoiding these damaging outcomes by not using the higher inflation as a cover for an increase in their profit margins. And where's the other comment where the unions shouldn't be artificially pushing up wages, and maybe train drivers shouldn't be striking? What happened to us all being in this together? It kind of disappeared, didn't it? Dr. Lowe said the troubles facing the global economy made it harder for the Reserve Bank to navigate a soft landing for the Australian economy. He said higher than expected inflation figures in the United States and deteriorating economic conditions in Europe and China made it difficult to return inflation to the 2 to 3% target and keep the economy on an even keel. Well, let's have a look at this chart here, because they haven't really been at the 2 to 3% range. They've been under. They've kind of been up there, 3%, 2%, yeah, under, below, under, above. There we go, that's it. That's in the range. They're in the range. They're in the range. Good. Boom. No, they weren't. I think they've been out of the range more than they've been in the range. I'll export this as a... Oh, I can't. Well, I'll get the data as a DWG somehow. As a DWG. You can tell I'm an architect. I'll get the data as an Excel file and we'll have a play with it in another video. I think it is possible to achieve this, but the path here is a narrow one and it's clouded in uncertainty. The more and more I look at all this economics and this news, the more I think it's all just bullshit. I think South Park had it right with their margarita mix episode. Dr. Lowe used his opening speech to address concerns about the RBA's response to the pandemic-era challenges. In those dark days of the pandemic, the Reserve Bank Board judged that bigger policy mistakes would have been to do too little rather than too much, he said. If the worst had occurred, Australians would have paid a heavy price. Dr. Lowe defended the bank's earlier commitment to low interest rates until 2024. I'm frequently reminded that many people interpreted our previous communication as a promise, yes, or a commitment that interest rates would not increase until 2024, yeah. That was despite our statements on interest rates always being conditional on the state of the economy, he said. Yeah, but the media didn't report it like that. The headlines didn't mention it like that. That's what it is. People don't have time. They'll jump on the headline. They won't look at any of the other information. They won't go back to the source. They never do. Why do you think we've got so many idiots running around? Look at all these idiots, the politicians, who are treating Queen Elizabeth like Queen Victoria. They've got no bloody idea what they're talking about. It's just ludicrous. I swear people are getting dumber. It has to be. It's too much soy, not enough meat in their diets. It's shrinking their brains. That's why the cults feed people gruel. It's to keep them stupid. All the cult leaders will eat the meat. That's what's happening. Explains why all the Greens voters, think about it, lack of nutrition. It's because they're stupid. Sorry, guys. I'm going off on a ramble now. Future cash rate decisions will depend on inflation expectations and how general inflation psychology evolved in Australia, he said. Since May, the RBA has lifted its cash rate target from 0.1% to 2.35%, which has added more than $600 a month to the average mortgage holder's monthly repayments. So let's have a talk about this one. Well, there you go. I wouldn't say a warning of profits and soaring inflation. I mean, again, the AAP, who wrote this for Yahoo and for whoever else picked up this article, kind of, spinning the title in a particular way, or what he said in a particular way. This is why we'll go through the whole video. It'll be a marathon stream, guys. I'll advertise it and we'll do it on YouTube and Twitch. But, and there you go. There you go. What do you reckon? I don't think we'll see mega profits. We saw mega profits when the government printed out a shitload of money to everyone and they all went and bought the latest gadgets and gizmos at JB Hi-Fi. That's when you saw huge profits. Oh well. Guys, take care. Let me know your thoughts and opinions and check out my other channels on HeiseBim and HeiseSays International. And if you want to support the channel, there are a few ways you can. Financially on YouTube or Patreon, using our referral links, calling us if you need an architect, or buying our pocket squares. Take care, everyone. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next episode of HeiseSays. Why is that movie not working?